We are just enjoying the little ripple of injustice that's shaking through the group.
Happy day, Abraham. A question you asked that was asked earlier and that you answered sparked a question in me. The idea of being oblivious to slights sparked this. I am one of the sensitive creatures on our earth. I've always been very aware of emotional undercurrents, and for the most part, it's a great gift. And I've nurtured it to be a gift. Now everyone in non-physical will clap as I present my problem. A small percentage of the time, the majority of the time, I hold a certain clarity while I'm feeling the undercurrents of emotion swirling around me, and it has no impact on me. A small percentage of the time, I'll walk away from a group where there are a lot of swirling emotional undercurrents, feeling physically uncomfortable. A muscle spasm in my back would be an example. And occasionally I pick up an undercurrent that touches a sensitivity in me personally where I feel hurt by it. And it's in those situations where I would like to hear from you ideas on how to luxuriate in my imperfections and use the opportunity to reconnect in a greater sense and depth of awareness and understanding.
Well, most everything that we would say to you in response to this, you could as easily say to us, because it's the same old thing that we talk about all the time about appreciating the fact that you are even aware. That's the fact that you have conscious awareness of how you feel is so meaningful, because you know that whether someone meant it, whether they were directing it at you, whether it's something that you thought or whether it's something that you picked up from the vibration, that now it's active in you no matter where it came from, it's counterproductive.
Right.
So what's at the heart of this self-consciousness, or the heart of this sort of unstable environment that so many people live in, where, of course, you bask in approval and appreciation while you writhe in discomfort if there is something different from that is shown to you. And in all of it, we want to say to you, don't make it personal, even if it's said to you or even if it is said about you. Because every negative offering that anyone ever offers is about their disconnection, not some flaw in you. It isn't personal. It feels personal because they're saying it to you or they're saying it about you, but it isn't personal because no one is ever offensive who's in alignment with Source. No one is ever critical who's in alignment with Source. So it is always about something that's going on with them. And as you put it into that context, then the old teacher in you kicks in. In other words, then it's like the one bleeding in the street that you would help. Then you want to give them the benefit of the doubt. You want to assist them in coming back into alignment, you see. You are a sort of big character in life, in most of the lives of people who are around you. In other words, you don't dabble at life, you live it in a very powerful way. And so the energy that swirls around you swirls in a very emphatic way. And in the same way that we were talking earlier, when people want what people want, no matter whether they think they're asking for a material object or a pile of money or an improved bodily condition or a state of being or a relationship, everything that every single person has ever wanted or ever will want is at the root of that desire is they want to feel good. That's what they really, really want. And so when someone like you presents yourself who predominantly feels good, you have to understand that a lot of the time what you are actually doing is amplifying in them their awareness that they're not feeling all that good. And there are a lot of people who still don't understand that feeling good is about their alignment. In other words, there are a lot of people that when they don't feel good, their knee-jerk reaction is to flail around and try to keep someone who is feeling good from feeling quite so good. There are a lot of people. In fact, the majority of people are not understanding that they are source and that the source vibration is there and that they have a vibrational relationship to it. And so they're not trying to close that gap. Most people who don't feel good really are working very hard, sometimes extremely consciously and deliberately, to bring others to where they are in the attitude of misery loves company, so to speak, rather than get to that place that right now they don't even have access or knowledge about. So with all of that, we just have to say to you, you just can't take it personally. And when you do, you pay the price. When you do, you separate yourself from your source. So now, if you want to take this a little further, let's don the attitude and personality of your inner being who saw you get slighted, let's say. Okay. And so here you are, you're bipping along, something happens, you get slighted, you focus on it long enough that you activate it in your vibration, and it takes you down the emotional scale into a place that does not feel so good. And there you are, not feeling good. And here's your inner being, still adoring you, still knowing you in your best state of being. What do you think your inner being's doing while you're over there?
Having a great time.
Not changing a whit for you.
Right.
Not saying, how can I coax her back? Not saying, what can we do? Let's blink the lights in the living room.
It would work.
Let's get a bird to kill itself by slamming into her sliding glass door. There is no effort whatsoever on the part of inner being to coax you back into alignment any more than what's always there. In other words, your inner being is always loving you, always calling you, but for some reason, you've chosen temporarily to tune to this one who is slighting you rather than to this one who is adoring you. And you just gotta, in time, ask yourself, why would I do that?
So in the very nature of relaxing into thoughts like, this isn't personal, I just happen to pick up an undercurrent, but it has nothing to do with me, that lets go of the oar in the upstream current and allows me to move back into my downstream.
And if that statement is too strong, if that statement irritates you because it sort of defies reality, because it feels like it is about you because they said it to you or about you. A softer statement is, it seems to be about me, but it's really about where they are.
Okay.
It's really about their position in the stream, about their vibrational relationship with who they are. And in time, you just become this stable being who feels good because you choose to, regardless of what anybody else is saying. Esther grew up in a very small town, and she's talked about this a great deal over the years, that she thinks that we hear your beeper, she thinks that it would have been easier to live in a larger environment with less interested people around you to find your place. When you live in a small place and everybody knows everything about everyone, there is sort of a feeling of spotlight, although everyone's in it. But no matter what the environment in which you were raised, all of you, we talked about this at the beginning of this segment today, there is this socialization process where most people are encouraging you to try to perform behavior that will be well received. And in the process, without exception, you lose yourself, because when you perform a behavior to resonate with what someone is wanting other than your inner being, you get off track. And even though you know better, some of those old habits are still there for everyone, you see. And and we're not wanting you to say, I care not about what other people think, because you are an uplifter. But we don't want you to take away altogether your awareness of how they feel. We just want it to matter far less than how you feel. And so now coming back around to this, you say, well, I do care about how I feel, and they hurt my feelings. And we say, you want to reach the place where your feelings are unhurtable.
Right.
My feelings are unhurtable because I am more interested in how my inner being feels about me than how you feel about me. And then you'll live happily ever after.
I got it.
Yes, you did.
Thank you.
Yes, you did.